So every single week, well, maybe not every single week, I love to play the old Powerball because I want to win millions of dollars. And I'm thinking for like $20 or $30, I can win millions of dollars. Well, guess what? You and I are already sitting on the winning lottery ticket. We just don't know it. So what's the winning lottery ticket? Your dental license. But here's the mistake that most dentists don't understand. And this is the difference between just being a run-of-the-mill regular dentist and a guy who's actually hit the lottery. What's the difference? It's understanding at what point do you pay off all of the monthly expenses, and then going forward after that, the percentage of profit starts to skyrocket. So if I told you that you can make an extra $100,000 or $200,000 per year by understanding those two numbers, you've just hit the lottery. Because if you're going to practice for 30 years and you can make an extra $200,000 a year for 30 years, that is some big cash. That's over $6 million. So how do you do it? So the typical dental office in the United States grosses around $700,000. And if the office is being well run, they get to keep around 30 to 35% of it. That's like the average. But what does that really mean? Well, it means that you've got a certain amount of monthly expenses. And let's just make up a number just to kind of make the math a little bit easier. So say your monthly expenses are around $55,000. What does that mean? Well, you've got payroll, you've got rent, you've got malpractice insurance, you've got lab expenses, you've got supplies, and all of that stuff is going to be, well, some of those items are fixed. For example, the payroll is always there, the rent is always there, the insurance is always there. So what are the variables in your monthly expenses? It's the lab bill and it's the dental supplies. So what happens when you get to that $55,000 mark every single month? As soon as you get to that point, every dollar that you make after that, the only expense you have to support that income coming in is your lab and your dental supplies. So what does that mean? So as opposed to working at a 35% profit, your lab accounts for about 3 to 4% of your total expenses. Your supplies account for 3 to 4% of your total expenses. But just to make the math easy, let's pretend it supports 5%. So between your lab and your supplies, you have 10% of overhead. The other 90%, guess who gets to keep it? You. So imagine going over $700,000. What happens when you go to $800,000? The next $100,000 that you make, 10% of it goes to expenses. You get to keep the other 90%. You're making $90,000. What if you go from $800,000 to $900,000, which is not that hard to do? Who gets to keep all of that money? From going $700,000 to $900,000, that additional $200,000 in jump, and you're spending 10% on the expenses, you get to keep $180,000 every single year that you hold your dental license. So what's the winning lottery number? What's the Powerball that you and I just want every single week? It's your dental license, but you have to practice smart. So what do you need to do? You need to figure out how to go from $700,000 to $900,000. And that's what these videos are really meant for. I want you to understand that it's usually not one big gigantic jump. It's very small incremental things that start to make your practice do better. So the reason I want you to watch these videos is I want you to understand that if you add teeth whitening to your dental practice, that you increase per hygienist revenue of $30,000 a year. That's like a big deal. If you have 2 hygienists, you've increased the gross of your practice by $60,000 by them doing 1 whitening per day while they're working. So that's not really a big ask. So there's other ways that you can add other services to your practice, whether it's doing Invisalign or other things, but go ahead and please start paying attention to these videos. And if you ever want to talk about this and get the ideas a little bit faster than listening to my videos, then give me a call. And I really do talk to every one of you guys. My cell number is 954-683-2693. And if you give me a call, we're not charging you for any of this stuff. I want to share all the years that I've had in dentistry with you to take you from just being an average dentist to being an above average dentist so that you can win the lottery the same way I did with my dental license.